I know there's a lot of videos on YouTube right now, and there's a few on my channel. Actually, I posted one yesterday showing Walmart and the shelves that were actually empty inside the Walmart, specifically the food section and the medicine, health, vitamin section. But this video here, I want to really stress the fact that food shortages are probably the least of your concerns, the least of your worries immediately, because Walmart, Target, Sprouts, Whole Foods, Publix, Kroger, Aldi, Lidl, Winn-Dixie, Ingles, I mean, we've hit them all between this channel and my wife's channel. And the food shortage threat is not a huge concern, not for me, and I don't think it should be for you either. Now, it could vary depending on where you live and what you see, but at the end of the day, I don't think we're going to have a food shortage. Even with the sanctions and the bans on exports and new tariffs on Russia as a result of them invading Ukraine and starting a war, I still don't see it. We will have shortages per se of certain things, certain brands, certain sizes, certain flavors, stuff like that. But overall, in general, you're not going to go hungry. Not anytime soon. Even with corn and wheat being down, even with possible lack of fertilizer and farmers suffering, the threat of food shortage is a ways down the road. Now, with that being said, I'm not telling you not to prepare. I'm not telling you to just, eat everything in sight and only have enough on a just-in-time basis, basically, where you're getting what you need to eat just in time before it's time to eat. I'm not telling you to do that, but I'm also saying that I don't think that the stores tomorrow are going to run out of food or water. Despite we seeing a massive fire in Indiana at a Walmart distribution center, they've had some changes they've had to make in order to adjust to the loss of that inventory and that supply chain, or at least that step in that link in the supply chain. But the fear of going hungry, not necessarily the case. Even for pets and animals, we're having a hard time finding canned wet cat food, but it doesn't mean that there isn't any cat food. So you just have to be able to be willing to adjust what you normally want and buy and eat to maybe what's available at the time. But if you're smart and you pay attention and you're savvy and you check frequently, you'll find what you want. It just may not be a matter of you go there and it's there that day, or you go there and there may be just one box on the shelf left of what you want and there's not an overstock. But as far as that goes, I don't think food shortages deserve panic. I don't think food shortages deserve to be labeled a crisis, not yet. And when they do, I'll let you know. I will honestly be the first to let you know. I won't sugarcoat it or hide it. But right now, I think we have bigger problems ahead of us, and it's not food and water shortages. And I want to talk about just being prepared in general, because we've had one particular area that we've all seen the effects of the pandemic and how it has really changed how we buy and what we buy and what we can afford, because everything's going up. Inflation is driving up everything, and the supply and demand right now for most commodities it's a seller's market. So as a buyer, you're paying more, whether it's due to inflation or due to profit, due to making up for lost time, due to the fact that these companies can and will do whatever they want right now for the foreseeable future to turn record profits. And it is what it is. You know, it happens in housing. And these aren't companies. These are just individual homeowners. And they've seen what supply and demand did to real estate. And they're not, you know, you're not going to sit in a house that they bought for 300 that they could probably sell for 310, you know, realistically, but the market's demanding 400. They're going to sell it for 400. They're not going to sell it for 310. They're going to profit. Like, that's where we're at. And we have to understand that, and we have to be cognizant of that. And the simple fact of the matter is, everything is going to cost more. Everything does cost more. And for the most part, most people don't make more. And if they do make more, they don't make anywhere near enough more to cover how much more things cost. So I want to make sure you are prepared. I want to make sure you're all prepared. And even if you're not prepared today or at the end of this video, I want you to have in your mind and be thinking about ways that you can become prepared for what could happen. Because we have to understand and realize that everything that we prepare for, whether you're watching this channel as a prepper, or, you know, or even if it's not my channel, maybe you watch Canadian Prepper, maybe you watch Alaska Prepper, maybe you watch Popular Preparedness, City Prepper, any of the channels, there's a million of them. Whether you're a prepper per se, whether you're just someone who doesn't want to get caught with their pants down, you need to understand and realize and watch the signals of what could happen down the road, so that you're preparing now for it. Like, you watch the weather, the forecast. If they tell you it could rain, you wear a jacket, you bring a jacket, you bring an umbrella. Maybe it doesn't rain, but you paid attention to the signals and you did what you needed to do to prepare in case it did. And if it doesn't, beautiful day, nobody's upset with that. Go on about your business. Now, to get to the point that I'm trying to make is that vehicles in specific have gone up in price dramatically. Now, this is in used car sales, mainly used cars, because used car market, because there's a lack of new car inventory available, the used car market has gone through the roof. Like, I'm sure you guys have seen or experienced yourself where you sold or traded in a vehicle and gotten more than you paid for it. And if you haven't, you've probably heard of someone who did, or you received a letter, a phone call, or email, or text message from a dealership trying to buy your vehicle. Why? Well, they want to buy your vehicle for multiple reasons. The first one being they need inventory. They can't make money selling nothing. We'll get on to that later, because they're selling nothing on new car sales and allocations, but they really can't make money on selling nothing, so they need inventory. So they need your vehicle. Why would they pay more for your vehicle, you know, at a time of crisis and pandemic? Because they were thinking ahead. They were thinking down the road in the future. They were preparing themselves for where we are today. And they looked at it as, hey, look, on every car sale, we're going to make X amount of dollars. We just need to make sales. Even if the sales aren't extremely profitable, each sale translates to dollars. So we'll buy up inventory higher than what it's worth to make the sale. Well, then you're thinking, well, how can you buy high and sell high or higher? Or why would you buy high and sell low? Well, nope, the dealerships are not doing that. They're buying high to sell higher. And if they're all in the same mindset, you know, if they're all prepared for the same future, what they do is they buy these vehicles for more than they're worth, because the dealerships are changing the market value of the vehicles because they control them. And the reason why they control them so much is because they have the access and the ability to control the financing and also the trade-ins, because most people don't want to do a private car sale. Most people want to They just want ease and simplicity. They want a good deal, but at the end of the day, they don't want to deal with people kicking tires. They don't want to answer a bunch of stupid questions and phone calls and emails on Auto Trader of people asking them questions about their vehicle for sale that they've already answered in the listing. They don't have the methods of facilitating financing for these buyers. They can't do a trade-in as a private seller. And then, you know, if you find yourself in a situation where you want to sell a vehicle that you don't own outright, you get the complexity of payoff and title transfers and all that. So the dealerships have an advantage to facilitate these transactions because in-house they can do all of that. They make it super simple, super easy. Some of them make it harder than it needs to be and take up your time all day and stick you back in financing and piss you off. But at the end of the day, it's still simpler and easier than trying to do it yourself. So when they control the inventory, even if they're not making a ton based on what they bought it for and what they're going to sell it for, even though they're controlling that and slowly inching it up, they control the financing, which they make money off of, and they control the trade-ins, and that, you know, so they continuously create more inventory as they're waiting for the new cars to show up that take longer and longer and longer to produce. Now, even new cars at that, they are charging additional dealer markup, ADM, on top of the highest new car prices that we've seen ever. I think the new average new car price is $45,000. This is a record high. Like, it's never been that high before. And if you're paying attention to the writing on the wall, it's just going to continue to get higher. So cars in general are just costing more. Not to mention, in addition to that, the dealers are marking them up beyond that because of supply and demand. There's not enough supply for the demand. Therefore, all the supply becomes more valuable and offered up to the highest bidder. So, to get all that, I wanted to put all that out there so that you understood where I'm going with being prepared. Because we've also just seen the Fed raise interest rates. I think this is the first time they've raised rates in 3 years. Now, again, let's take this with a grain of salt. The rates have been raised. This is a promise of one of multiple raises to come for the rest of the year. I think we have 6 more increases for the rest of the year, with anticipation for multiple increases in 2023. But the point here that you need to understand and see and identify and realize is that now everything, like, this is compounding the cost. So record high new car prices, dealers additional markup. Now, if you want to finance this vehicle, it's going to cost you more because the interest rates have gone up. Again, the interest rates right now increase, first time in years, not as high as they were before the pandemic started, but this is just the beginning. You got to realize it's the beginning. They've told you there's going to be more increases. They are coming. So you got to think down the road, the cars are going to continuously cost more. The dealers are going to continuously mark them up as much as they can. The manufacturers are going to keep making the higher profitable, more expensive models with the limited resources they have available to them. They have only so many, they have a finite amount of resources, whether it be materials, semiconductor chips, engines, transmissions, drivetrain components, paint. You can't even order certain vehicles in certain colors because paint colors aren't available. Packaging for the paint to be, you know, even if the color could be available, isn't available to package, to deliver, to have it as an option. So our selection down the road, I mean, we could end up in a point in time where, hey, you get 2 options. You get the expensive version or the more expensive version in black or white. Like, that's it. Like, that's where we're going for, you know, possibly the foreseeable future, until the supply chain catches up and we can get back to normalcy of before. But record new car prices, additional dealer markup, and then financing is going to cost more. Well, you may ask yourself, or say to yourself, or say, comment below, I'm not buying a new car. I'm not buying a used car. I'm going to keep what I got. I'm going to drive it till the wheels fall off. And that's perfectly fine. Great time to do it. If you happen to have multiple vehicles, maybe some for pleasure, or maybe for some reason you just determine that you don't need to commute or travel like you used to and you can do without, you know, you could possibly be sitting on an opportunity to profit from a used car sale, if you don't see yourself needing one or wanting to buy one or needing to buy one anytime soon. But you aren't always in control of what happens next. And what happens next is what I want you to be prepared for. Not just food shortages and, you know, food and water shortages and empty shelves and SHTF or new car prices being high. None of that stuff. Fed interest rates going up. I want you to be prepared for what you aren't in control of, and that is a catastrophic failure due to no fault of your own. Now, what does that mean? Well, let's just say you're out driving, you got a great driving record, you drive safely, and I'm sure you guys have seen these fail army videos and these dash cam videos of just crazy drivers, and all of a sudden, you know, somebody comes along and does something dumb and totals your vehicle. Now, that sucks. Hopefully everything's okay physically, but now your vehicle's totaled, okay? Fortunately, based on new car replacement values, your insurance is probably going to pay you way more money than it's worth. Way more money than you paid for it to match today's replacement costs. Great. That's great. However, new cars cost more. New cars aren't available. Used cars cost more, and even those aren't really available. You can't just go out and buy whatever you want. You got to buy what's available. And if you drive a truck for a living daily, but you use it for work and that's your bread and butter to make money, and someone just totaled your truck, what are you going to do? Let's add to that. Let's add to that. It's not just about the inventory and the rates and new car prices and availability. This is about you. This is about your financial situation. Maybe the insurance company paid you more than what it was worth, but you had a loan on it. It allowed you to pay it off. Maybe you put $1,000 to $2,000 in your pocket, okay? But you haven't necessarily been responsible with your credit in the meantime. Now, you need to go finance a car. Can you get approved? If you can get approved, what rate will you get? Fed is raising interest rates. So if your credit wasn't already good to begin with or great, now the higher interest rate that you were paying on your finance vehicle is going up, and through no fault of your own, because someone else decided to total your vehicle or do something to total your vehicle, forcing you in a situation where you need to replace it. And now you have to think about and look at all the factors and the components and the moving pieces of buying a vehicle today, 2022, 2023. You have to think of that. Like, don't sit here and think like, oh, I'm good, I don't need a car or a truck, I don't need to buy anything. But you may have to, whether you want to or not. You may have to. Someone may force you to do that. So what I want you to do is I want you to be prepared. And the main reason I want you to be prepared, or how I want you to be prepared, is financially. So I want you to be prepared with money. You need to have your emergency reserve fund. You need to have cash available. I'm not talking about a lot of cash, but you need to have cash available. Maybe if you need to do a down payment or something like that. But you need to have money, or if you want to just buy a car or vehicle cash if you need to, on top of maybe what the insurance would pay out. In addition to that, I want you to have your credit in order. I want you to have a 740 score or better. I got bad credit. I got 5 something. I got 6 something. I got 700. I don't care. I want you to get 740. And if you want to get 740, comment below, let me know, and we can talk about that, because I've been through the credit game, and my wife can attest to it. She's up 200 points in 12 months. I mean, she got better credit than I do now. And I think she's like nearing 800 now. And there's no secret really on how to do it. There's things that need to be done that most people don't really enjoy or want to do. But I guarantee you, if you do them and SHTF, and you need to go buy something or finance something and rely on your credit, you're going to be very, very happy and grateful that you did it. And the reason why I say 740 is because 740 enters you into prime rates. Anything over that is like bragging rights. You know, my brother and I, we actually talked about it. The only reason why you really probably want to be over 740 is because it gives you a little buffer, a little flexibility. You're at 740, great, prime rates. And a credit card reports or something reports, and your score drops down to 735 for a few days. Well, that kind of sucks. Now you're not in prime. So anything over that is really like a buffer. So as your score fluctuates throughout the month, you don't drop below the 740, but the 740 is the minimum, and that's where I want you to be, because that's going to allow you the best rates, the best financing. In addition to that, you don't want any blemishes or negative reporting or delinquencies or anything like that, or any collections on your credit. That's what I want you to do, because if the rates are going up, there's 2 ways that you can combat the rates, or maybe 3. 1, don't buy anything. 2, pay cash. 3, have the best credit possible so you can get the best rate possible. Because if SHTF and you are forced through no fault of your own to have to make a move, whether it be in cars or real estate, where you live, buying a house, even getting approved for an apartment, or even utilities, and not having to pay a deposit to turn on your water, your electric, your gas, your cable, whatever, your credit's going to be a major component there. So I want everybody to be prepared, not just for food shortages and water shortages and empty shelves and stuff like that. It could happen, but I don't really see that happening anytime soon. But I want you to be prepared for, and this isn't just for like negative costly mistakes and accidents. This could be for, hey, a great opportunity presents itself for you to make an investment. Maybe you want to do it with cash, or maybe you want to do it with credit. But if you are prepared financially with money in the bank and a good credit score and good credit history and good credit availability and low credit usage ratios and low DTIs, then you will be able to do that and take advantage of them. And then, further down the road, you can reap the benefits. These will be the fruits of your labor down the road, when everyone else is thinking like, oh man, everything is so expensive. Like, this is giving you an opportunity to get in and invest and buy in assets that are going to generate you income, revenue, wealth down the road, all because you did things, you were prepared now for what you didn't even know was coming tomorrow. And that's all I want you to do. I want you to be prepared for what you don't even know is coming, but we see indications of what could be. So much like I say, stock your pantry, have a little bit of a surplus. That's fine. You may never need it. In addition, save your money, get your credit right, make sure it stays good, and be prepared just in case somebody forces you to have to make a purchase, or a great opportunity presents itself and you want to jump in on an investment that's going to make you money down the road through buying appreciating assets. Hope you found this information helpful and useful. If you made it this far, do me a favor, click subscribe, give me a like. I'd love to hear what you got to say in the comments, and I'll be back real soon with another video. Thanks.